tips and strategies on how to create healthy living. I want to give you tips for creating a healthy habits that will actually transform your life. Now, it's usually Casey and I. She has a terrible headache today. She's got vertigo. So you just got me today. So my name's Ruth. We're all about living a happy, healthy life and living out the purpose that God has for us. So today I want to give you some tips on creating a healthy lifestyle. I want to give you some guidelines or some new thoughts. Maybe it's new words for you that is going to help you to move forward in living a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that actually will transform your life. Because we want to go out and do what God has for us to do. And we can't do that if we aren't well. We need to be able to feel good inside. We need to have the confidence to go out. We need the courage to step out and move forward. And so I believe, Casey and I believe, that in order to live out our purpose that God has for us, we need to be treating our body like a temple and feeling good on the inside and having the energy on the outside to be able to go and do what God is calling us to do. So if you're joining me today I want to give you some words, and maybe you've never heard these words in the context of weight loss. But I'm going to say these tips that I'm going to give you today can go way beyond weight loss. We can use these in our weight loss journey, but we can also use them just for everyday living. Because you and I are, as believers, we are supposed to be enjoying everyday life. God wants us to rejoice in all things. He wants us to be, not doom and gloom, but he wants us to be joyful. And that might just mean a simple smile might pick someone else's mood up. You and I need to have the joy of the Lord showing through us. And so if you've never been here, my name is Ruth, and I just want to say we talk about all things healthy Christian living. Casey and I usually do this together, but we have an emphasis on weight loss. But this is applicable through all areas of our life because a weight loss journey incorporates every aspect of our life. So the first word I want to share today, actually I'm going to give you the 3 words. I have 3 words and I'm taking them out of Amos. So they are repair, renew, and rebuild. Repair, restore, rebuild. I go repair and restore, restore and renew, and then rebuild. Because I think all of these R words are very helpful in transforming our life. So I'm just going to read from you Amos. And I know that Amos is he's a prophet. The whole book of Amos is about doom and gloom. And I'm going to take these words out of context because I know Amos lots of his is prophecy and it's about the end times. And I know that, but these words, I believe that God's word is living and active. And I believe that these words can be used to transform our life, our weight loss journey, and other areas of our life. So I think these words are going to be helpful for creating healthy habits. So Amos says, in that day, I will restore David's fallen shelter. I will repair its broken walls and restore its ruins, and will rebuild it as it used to be, so that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the nations that bear my name, declares the Lord who will do these things. Now, I'm going to say God redeems. The whole book of Amos is about doom and gloom. It's a hard message that he's prophesying. And yet, in the end, in the very last section of Amos, he talks about how God is going to repair, restore, and rebuild. So let's talk and dive into those words, because I think in a journey of life, we need to be really understanding these words. Repair, restore, rebuild. And I'm going to use some of them interchangeable. But we need to, for creating healthy habits, we need to repair some of our habits. Some of our good habits have gone, astray. We've kind of wandered off the narrow road onto the wide road. Some of our habits don't want to stay in the white lines. You've heard Casey and I talk about staying in the white lines, which is not veering to the right or to the left, staying in the center, staying in the boundaries that God has for us. But sometimes our habits, they start to veer off either direction, and we need to have them repaired. We need to maybe do something to the wheels or to our drive or to our consistency to bring it back into the white lines, to repair it. What does this mean? Well, I think first of all, we have to identify and correct our detrimental behaviors. You and I have behaviors. We are consistent at certain habits, whether they're good or bad. So first of all, we have to identify the habits that have gone, off the road, so to speak. What habits have you fallen away? What good habits have you fallen away from and drifted? Maybe you're drifting and you don't know how to get back. And I'm going to say, first of all, before we can repair the old habit or the habit, we have to identify it. And sometimes that's speaking it out loud. Are you drinking your water? Have you stopped drinking your water? Are you going down the junk food aisle in the grocery store more often again? Are you going through the drive-through and buying those sugary drinks again? What is it? What habit are you doing? Or which of your good habits are going by the wayside? What old habits do you have to repair? Maybe you have to repair your emotional relationship with food. That also means changing your behavior, because it first means identifying what emotions you are having when you're turning to food. We need to know these things about ourselves. It means digging deep, digging into the roots of the dirt. Maybe it's dirty. I often talk about like when it's springtime and we dig and we plant in the dirt. We have to sometimes dig into the mess to clean it up, to get it repaired. If you have a house and your roof starts to leak, what do you have to do to the roof? You have to repair it. Well, it's no different with our own habits in our healthy living lifestyle. Sometimes we have to look and identify what's going wrong and then repair it. There's no harm in digging into the mess, figuring out what it is. What are the triggers that you have that are causing you to turn to junk food? What is your relationship to food right now? Are you struggling? Are you emotionally eating? Are you turning to food when you're angry or sad or mad or happy? All these emotions that we have, we don't want food to be the source of the comfort when we need, a hug. We don't want food to be the hug. We want food to be our source of energy. And so when we're on this healthy journey, living a balanced lifestyle or trying to lose weight, we have to be conscious about our habits. We need to know whether our habits need to be repaired. So thanks for joining me. Yeah, we all have bad habits. You are so right about that. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is to restore our minds. Now, in Amos, he talks about God is going to restore and he's going to rebuild all of those things. And so I'm really excited to say, I like to use the word restore and renew interchangeable because I love the whole topic about renewing our mind. I'm passionate about mental fitness, mental wellness. And so I believe that it's really important to get this positive thinking into our minds rather than all the negative thinking that goes on, because we can so easily get lost in the negative world. People around us are so negative. And sometimes if you just stop and listen to what's going on around you, you just like, everything just seems so down in the dumps. Just like Amos, that was doom and gloom. But you know what? There's a whole nother side to life. We're supposed to find joy. We're supposed to live for today. and not worry about tomorrow, because today has enough trouble of its own. So we need to be restoring our minds. We need to renew our minds daily. And if you've been around for any length of time, you will know that I love the term mental fitness. And mental fitness really means renewing our minds, renewing and restoring our minds, which is going to help us have a balanced, healthy lifestyle. But mental fitness means having a positive sense of how we feel. So do you have a positive sense of how you feel? Or it also means having a positive sense of how you think in our minds. Like, how are we thinking about what we're doing? Do we even think about what we're doing? There's a whole balance there. And so we need to have the mental fitness of knowing how we think. Are we thinking positively or negatively? Or do we need to repair that as well? Do we need to renew that and restore it? Because when we have this positive sense of how we feel, and we have a positive sense of how we think, then we will also have a positive sense of how we act. And that is going to improve our ability to enjoy life, which is what God wants us to do. Enjoy our life. So we need to repair some old habits. We need to restore and renew our minds. And I love this quote. It's from Winston Churchill. It says, "Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no less enthusiasm." You may think right now, oh, my mind is just a big negative blurb and I don't know how to bring it back to positive. All we can do is know that we all stumble and fall. We stumble and our habits veer off. Our mind takes us in wrong directions. It can make us veer to the right and to the left too. But recognizing and understanding that we can bring it back, we can renew it, we can restore it with the help of God, then it's not failure. It's moving forward because we're actually learning from our mistakes. And that is not failure. That's success. When we actually learn from our mistakes, there's no failure there. That's just all learning and growing, which is huge success. So mental fitness, we have to be resilient and learn that our minds are so powerful. That positive thinking versus the negative thinking can transform our everyday living. So that's what we need to start doing. Maybe we need to start doing something for someone else because it's going to change our mindset and take our minds off of poor me to, oh, what can I do for someone else? That also will renew your mind if you just do a whole switch from taking your mind off of yourself to putting it onto someone else. What can I do to bless someone else? We also, in renewing our mind, need to take responsibility for our own actions. We need to stop blaming everyone else for what's going wrong in our lives. We need to stop blaming everyone else if we're not losing the weight we want. We need to ask ourselves, like, do we truly want to lose the weight? Do we really want to live a healthy lifestyle? Do we really want to restore and renew our minds? Because it is possible if we truly want to. So let's think about that. Let's start to take responsibility for our mental fitness, which means putting in some hard work, because we can have a positive sense on how we feel. We can have a positive sense on how we think. And we can have a positive sense on our actions. We can change, we can transform when we actually identify the things that are going wrong and get them back in the middle of the white lines. So mental fitness, it's huge. Renewing our mind is huge. And we could go on and on about renewing our minds because there's many things we can do to renew our minds. And one of them is to take our thoughts captive. One of them is to think about the things that God tells us to think about, things that are lovely and pure and good and noble. Good things to think about. Listening to positive music, listening to positive podcasts, sermons. There's just so much we can talk about on renewing our mind. But let's take action on renewing our mind. Let's repair those broken habits. that we've gotten off track on. Let's renew our mind. And thirdly, let's rebuild our confidence. Rebuild. You know, God can help us with rebuilding our confidence. What is your confidence level like? We need to sometimes reflect on past successes that we've had in our life, because we can learn and glean from previous successes that we've had. What's a scenario, or what is something that happened to you in your life when you know you were successful? Go back and dig deep into that. You know, like dig into the dirt, get messy. What strengths did you possess at that time that gave you your success? Sometimes it's recognizing those successes and saying, hey, I can do that again. So let's consider what we've done in the past. Then let's also consider asking a trusted friend to help us build in our confidence. Ask them for feedback. What is it that you can do? What is it that you need from someone else? Do you need accountability? Is accountability going to give you confidence? Is buying a power suit going to give you confidence? Because sometimes you just need to feel good in your skin, right? You need to feel good when you're heading out the door. You need to know that you're going to be okay. You need to push through that fear. And here's another quote that I like, and I don't even know who it's from, but it says this: life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Sometimes our confidence, we just need to be bold and step out in courage and in faith, knowing that that's going to build our confidence. We might not have the confidence right now, but just pushing through, just going for it. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to our courage. Don't you just love that quote? I love the verse, Philippians 4:13, and that's often so many of your favorite verses. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So that can boost our confidence. Just stating that verse over and over, meditating on that verse, that also renews our mind. But, you know, saying these power statements can also rebuild our confidence. Like saying these I statements. I can do all things. It doesn't say maybe I can. It doesn't say I might be able to do all things. No, it's a power statement. I can do all things through Christ. I do feel so much better when I eat healthy. I feel so good about myself when I am living through the healthy habits that I have set for myself. I love these I statements that are positive, because they're not only repairing our habits, they're not only restoring and renewing our mind, but they are rebuilding our confidence level. So I hope that these 3 words will stick with you. And I know that, you know, in the context of Amos, it means a whole lot more than what I'm giving you. But I love these 3 words in the context of building a healthy lifestyle that's going to transform us so that we can go out and fulfill the purpose that God has for us. We want to have that healthy lifestyle. That doesn't mean being a size 0. It doesn't mean having a 6-pack. But it does mean building some healthy habits that are going to transform our lives. Now, what can you do? Well, here's what I had to do when I was starting to create healthy lifestyle for myself. I had to cut out a lot of fried food. I love fried food. Who doesn't love fried food? Let's be honest, I think we all do. It's tasty and delicious. But there are many other tasty and delicious foods that are not deep fried. There's lots of many foods that are tasty and delicious that you can make for yourself. And that's why we love, you know, air fryers, or there's different ways of creating healthy, delicious foods, tasty foods. When I was trying to build some healthier habits into my life, I had to start drinking more water. Are you doing that? Are you drinking more water? I had to add more vegetables into my life, into my balanced living. And I'm going to say choose all the colors of the rainbow, not just some. Choose all the colors of the rainbow. Get them into your body somehow. You might not like them all. Make them into a smoothie where you're not even going to know the difference. But incorporate more veggies into your lifestyle for transforming your life. It will transform your life. I had to begin to create a movement habit that became a habit so that now when I'm missing out on my exercise, I feel like I'm missing out on myself. And so this is a habit that I've created for myself. I love to walk. Did I always used to love to walk? No. And I made myself do it. But it says, you might have heard this before, but they used to say it only takes 21 days to create a healthy habit. But now they realize that it takes about 66 days to create a healthy habit. And I'm going to say it probably took me 66 days to create that healthy habit of walking. But do something and don't give up on yourself. If you give up on yourself one day, make sure you do it the next day. Because if you can get right back into it, the habit will still keep building. But if you let one day go and then the next day go and then the next day go, it's hard to get back into the habit of movement. It's very easy to become a couch potato. So make that a priority. Just get out there. Repair that old habit if you've fallen by the wayside. Restore it, renew your mind. And I love to listen to things while I'm walking. Sometimes it's worship music, and sometimes it's a sermon, and sometimes it's just something motivating. But it renews my mind, it restores my mind, and that rebuilds my confidence. So these things are so helpful to transform our life. Think about what you can do to transform your life. What are some things that you can do? And start today. Don't let another day go by. So I hope this has been helpful for you. These 3 words, incorporate them into your daily living, and they will transform your life. Remember, you can do all things through Christ because it is possible when God is in the journey. So today I just want to end by saying, if you need anything from Casey and I, please give us a comment. If there's a topic that you want to hear about, please comment below. Let us know what would be helpful for you in your healthy lifestyle that we could share and talk about. Until next time, I'm just going to say, remember that you are a beautiful woman and you are chosen for greatness. And we certainly do believe in you. Until next time, treat your body like a temple, not a trash can. Bye for now.